Hi and welcome everyone. I am Friar Tuck and this is my epoch. So today I am about to go across what's called the Purple People Bridge. It's the pedestrian bridge here in Cincinnati. And we're going to have a little bit of a talk because I know a lot of you people that follow my channel, you guys are preppers. And within the prepping community there's something that is called wolves. And those are people, if you don't know what they are, those are people who look at preppers as a target. They see that they have the stuff and they're waiting for the world to fall apart, and then they're going to come and take their stuff. Well, I have met one in person, and I'm here to tell a little bit of a story about it. And before I get into that, though, I kind of want to give a little bit of background about me and who I am. Because as an individual, I'm a little bit different, a little bit unique in a certain sense. So my mom and my old man, because they're more alike than they like to admit, they have a way of playing games. And my mom was really, really good at playing head games, playing mind games and things like that. And it was something that I had to learn to combat, something I had to learn to spot and learn how to deal with. And because of that, I happen to have this weird curiosity that when I see a burning fire, I like to touch it until it actually burns me, and then I walk away. Because I don't know if it's just the way that I was psychologically damaged as a kid, or if it has to do with something else that's wrong with me in the way that I think. Okay? So that's kind of why I'm able to meet this person and stick around. Because one thing I've learned in life is that if you just shut up and listen, people will tell you everything. Because here's the truth in the world. You can't really trust anyone. Now, I do feel like I got burned. I do feel like I got mistreated in a lot of ways, violated in a lot of ways. But, I've kept my mouth shut about it for various reasons, because I make commitments, and when I make a commitment, I do everything I can to hold it up until a person gives me no choice but to break that commitment. And after seeing a couple of things today, by checking my Skype and then seeing a message come through on LinkedIn, which is something I don't even really use, I did it upon the request of someone else and put the tags on it on the request of someone else. And then they want to accuse me of impersonating someone and that they were never affiliated with me, which is it is an untruth. I'll just put it to you that way. But, that goes with playing with fire. And so, therefore, as I walked away and tried to not get burned, there are still ways to be able to reach out, because the guy knows my buttons in the same way I know his buttons. But I took a moment and I kept it to myself. And so with that being said, you're going to have to deal with wolves. These are people who look at what you have as a prepper and say, when the world falls apart, I'm going to come and I'm going to take it. And I'll give you a little bit of my story. So, being on trail, before I got on trail, I was jaded by the world. I saw the world and I'm like, you know what? Hold on, let me switch the camera here. I'm like, you know what? The world is out to get you. The world is cruel and all that. But you know what? Getting on trail, getting to see all these wonderful people who have compassion, and to see that there are great people out there, it restored my faith in humanity, which broke down my natural defenses and my natural walls to be very skeptical of the people that I ran into. So I run into an individual, and this may happen to you too. There's going to be things that happen, because what they're looking for is they're looking for a weakness. They're looking for a way in. This is why social engineering is so important. This is why data security is so important. This is why protecting not only your personal reputation, but your digital reputation is so important. Is because individuals like this, they're looking for a chink in your armor. And the chink in my armor was I let my guard down enough to be able to let somebody in that I normally wouldn't have let in. Because, I'd had so much kindness on trail that when somebody offered me kindness, I didn't think anything of it. You should always be skeptical of someone offering you kindness. because most people, they do it out of the kindness of their heart. But you're going to run into some people that they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it with ulterior motives for their own personal gain. In the same way that I dislike Christians, this gentleman dislikes preppers for various reasons. And, I can see why he dislikes preppers, and some of it makes sense, because of the paranoia and the hysteria and all these different things. But, everybody has those things that really irritate them about society, and this individual is no different. Okay, so as I got along, a guy offered me a cigarette. Cool. I didn't ask him for cigarettes. He offered me one. I didn't actually ask for anything. And then he's like, here, let me make a deal with you, and let me make another deal with you, and let me make another deal with you. By the time he gets to probably about the third deal, that's when red flags start getting raised, because people who want to make deals with you, they have ulterior motives, or they have no intention of honoring the deal because they're just trying to get what it is that they want. One of the things that I was told was, call your old man and tell him you have a job, you just need your laptop. Well, once I got my laptop, he's like, I never promised you a job, I'm like, well, no, that's what you told me. And he's like, well, you got your laptop, didn't you? Or getting to listen to stories about how he has taken YouTube channels from people and things like that. It's just this is what wolves do, and his weakness is his ego. He likes to brag. He likes to talk about the things that he's done because he's proud of it in one form or fashion. And then later on he'll deny it, but then he'll go back to talking about how he did it. So, people like that, they know what they're doing is wrong, but to them there is no such thing as right and wrong. There is, and then there isn't. And when it comes to survival, you're going to have to put aside your ethics as well. So it does not mean that you are that you do not take kindness. What I'm telling you is that as an individual, you need to really take a moment and look at your overall security as an individual, because people will get in and befriend you and social engineer you, and then once they find out what it is that you have, after they've gotten you to let down your barriers, your natural things, because you think you could trust them. But the thing is there are very few people in this world you can trust. And some basic things that you can do to decide if you can trust somebody is, do they honor their commitments? And are they making a lot of commitments to you? Because the thing is, the more commitments you make, the harder it becomes. So, for example, I was told that if I allowed him to buy me a bag, that he would replace my bag and my sleeping bag and all my gear, and that I would have better gear. And I'm like, okay, well, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. But you know what? I'll go ahead and, like I said, I like to play with fire. Even when I know something's gonna blow up in my face, I'm still gonna do it. And that is my plight in life. Okay, so when it comes to dealing with people that want to take what you have to look at it from multiple angles, because even the people that you think you can trust, and people the people that you think are upstanding people, oh, I got a job, I own businesses, I do this, I do that, I've got all these accolades, I've done this, I've done that. Well, again, bragging is another red flag that you should be worried about, because most people who have done things, especially things that they're not supposed to talk about, generally don't brag about it. At least that's my experience. Guys who've gone off to combat generally don't talk about their combat. Guys who have, done things that they're not allowed to talk about don't talk about those things. My grandfather was one of those. We never found out till he was at the end of his life exactly what the things that he did, that he was escorting nukes around Vietnam, because he had to wait until he had a point where, it was no longer consequential for him, and the thing is just because these people do crazy things, and they may want to take what you have because they see you as weak, because again, they're looking for your weaknesses, and you need to be prepared for your for anything, and make sure to shore up your weaknesses, whether it be trusting people. You can only trust them to a certain point. Let them prove themselves. If somebody's going to say that they'll do something, okay, let's see if you do it. And for me, and this is why trust is so hard with me to gain, the second you say you're going to do something and then you don't, that is generally the first point where I say, okay, I no longer trust you. Because if you're willing to do it once, you're willing to do it many times. In the same sense that if you're willing to talk bad about your brother, then you're willing to talk bad about me. And if you don't want people to talk bad about you behind your back, then maybe you should stop talking bad about people behind their back. Okay? Because the thing is what one does to one, they'll do to others. What people do to you, they're going to do to others. Just like what you do to others, others will do to you. These are certain truisms within the within the universe that you just cannot escape. No matter how much that you try and make it different, you just can't. Okay? So, it doesn't have to be somebody coming and doing a full frontal assault. A wise man who really wants what you have expects you to be expecting that full frontal assault. It's the side assaults, it's the flanking, it's the breaking down of barriers. That's what you really have to worry about if you really want to protect yourself from individuals like this. But again, it doesn't mean that you don't trust. It doesn't mean that that everybody out there is bad, because they're not. It's just there's a small percentage of them, and like they told me when I was in Marine Corps boot camp, is that that 100% of the rules are made for 10% of the people. 90% of the people follow the rules, 10% don't. So 10% of the people that you meet, you probably shouldn't trust that you already trust. And you should be looking at reasons, and you should be skeptical. Not only skeptical, but you should really watch them like a hawk. Because the second they say they're going to do something and then they don't, the second they change their story of, my mom had $30,000 and then my mom had $300,000 and then my mom had $300 million. Well, if you're paying attention to their stories, they're and their stories change, just small little nuances. Or if they continuously repeat the same story, chances are what they're trying to do is take a half-truth and turn it into a truth. Because, if you say something enough times, you'll end up believing it. All right? So if you guys want to help out the channel, you know how to. Like, subscribe, share, become a member of Patreon, become a YouTube member, get early access to videos, or you can leave me a tip in the tip jar, or you can use the affiliate links, or, there's so many ways you can help the channel. It's just whatever fits you. Okay, everything's down in the description if you want to help the channel. But this is my one prepper video of the week. So on Tuesdays I'm going to do prepper videos, and then on Thursdays is when I'm going to do my technology videos. And now you're kind of starting to understand the correlation between technology and prepping. At least I hope you are by this video, because it will help you become a better prepper, because you need to prepare and secure yourself from all angles. Not really buy into the hysteria, not buy into the paranoia, but at the end of the day, you have to realize that you're on an island by yourself, and there's not really going to be anybody there to help you. Even though we may be in a society where it seems like you need people there to kind of be a team, it's very hard to find a team. I had a hard time finding it in Gainesville. I have a hard time finding it in Chattanooga. And so I don't really think that I will ever find a true team. I will travel with people. I will correlate with people until finally one day I'll just be like, you know what? I don't trust you. You broke my trust, and I gave you the various reasons for that. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something from this video, and I will see you in the next.